Have you ever sat quietly in the morning, maybe holding a warm cup of tea, and suddenly wondered why, after doing everything doctors, TV shows, magazines, and even family members told you was healthy, your body still feels heavy, tired, stiff, or strangely disconnected? And why no one ever warned you that some habits praised your whole life might slowly turn against you after 70? Because this is something almost nobody says out loud, especially not on YouTube. But aging is not a straight road where the same rules apply forever. It's more like crossing invisible borders where what once protected you can later exhaust you. And the tragedy is not that people over 70 make mistakes. It's that they keep repeating old victories in a new body that no longer responds the same way. And they blame themselves when the body resists, when in reality, the body is simply asking for a different kind of care, a quieter kind, a wiser kind. And I remember meeting a man in his early 70s who walked every single morning without fail, rain or shine, pain or no pain, because he believed stopping meant giving up. And one day he admitted, almost embarrassed, that his knees hurt so badly at night he couldn't sleep. Yet he still forced himself to walk, because everyone told him movement was life, but no one told him that after 70, recovery matters as much as movement, and sometimes more. And that's how many healthy habits become harmful, not because they're wrong, but because they're outdated, frozen in time, refusing to evolve with the body. And another quiet danger shows up around food, because many seniors still eat like they're preparing for a long workday that no longer exists. Heavy meals, strict schedules, low fat, low pleasure, all in the name of discipline. While digestion slows down, stomach acid decreases, and the body struggles to absorb nutrients, especially protein, and then weakness appears. Balance worsens, muscles shrink, and people say, that's just aging, when really it's undernourishment disguised as control. And what hurts most is that older people are often praised for this suffering, told they're so disciplined, when discipline without adaptation slowly drains life instead of protecting it. And then there's hydration, another sacred rule that nobody dares question. Drink more water. Drink water first thing in the morning. Force it even when you're not thirsty. But after 70, the kidneys don't regulate fluids the same way. Electrolytes matter more, and flooding the system too early can cause dizziness, weakness, even confusion, which later gets labeled as aging or memory issues. And the body keeps trying to signal that it wants balance, not extremes. But the signals are ignored because the habit feels virtuous. And beyond the physical habits, there's a deeper, quieter one that causes real damage, and that is emotional suppression. Because many older adults were raised to believe that complaining is weakness, that emotional pain should be swallowed, that loneliness should be endured in silence. But the nervous system doesn't forget what the mouth refuses to say. It stores it in the body, tightening the chest, disturbing sleep, raising blood pressure, exhausting energy. And the cruel irony is that seniors often think they're being strong when they're actually carrying an unnecessary weight. And strength after 70 looks very different than it did at 40. It looks like honesty, flexibility, asking for rest, choosing comfort without guilt, and letting go of the need to prove anything to anyone. Because here's the truth most people never hear. The goal of health after 70 is not to optimize, maximize, or push. It's to preserve joy, independence, clarity, and peace. And that requires unlearning just as much as learning. And the biggest mistake is believing that stopping, slowing down, or changing direction means decline, when often it means intelligence, adaptation, and survival. Because the body at this stage is not asking for punishment disguised as discipline. It's asking for respect, and when that respect is ignored, even the healthiest looking routines start quietly stealing energy, confidence, and quality of life. And the saddest part is how invisible this process is. Because it doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, politely, with small aches, subtle fatigue, shorter patience, lighter sleep, until one day a person wakes up and wonders where their spark went, not realizing it was slowly drained by habits that once made them proud. And what makes this even more complicated is that society keeps rewarding seniors for staying rigid instead of responsive, applauding those who never miss a workout or eat the same clean meals every day without asking how they actually feel inside their bodies. And many older adults internalize this praise so deeply that they become afraid to change, afraid that adjusting means admitting weakness, when in reality, adaptation is one of the highest forms of intelligence the human body possesses. And I've seen people over 70 cling to routines that exhaust them simply because those routines once defined who they were. And letting go feels like losing identity. But identity is not a schedule or a diet or a step count. It's the ability to remain present, curious, and alive in the body you have now, not the one you had decades ago. And another harmful healthy habit that quietly creeps in is constant self-monitoring. Always checking numbers, blood pressure, steps, calories, sleep hours, turning life into a dashboard instead of an experience. Because while awareness is useful, obsession creates anxiety, and anxiety ages the body faster than any dessert ever could. And after 70, the nervous system becomes more sensitive, more reactive, meaning peace and emotional safety become just as important as physical routines. Yet almost no one teaches that. And then there's the habit of saying yes when the body wants to say no, attending every event, helping everyone, pushing through fatigue because rest feels selfish, especially for parents and grandparents who spent a lifetime giving, but giving without recovery eventually turns into resentment, exhaustion, and quiet bitterness, which again gets blamed on age instead of imbalance. And what's heartbreaking is how often seniors apologize for needing rest, as if their bodies haven't earned that right, as if slowing down is something to be ashamed of, when in fact the later years are meant to be lighter, not heavier, simpler, not stricter. And here's the part that rarely gets said clearly. Longevity without quality is not success, and health without peace is not health. And if a habit increases stress, fear, pain, or guilt, it doesn't matter how healthy it looks on paper, it is no longer serving you. And letting it go is not failure, it is graduation. And the healthiest older adults are not the ones who follow the most rules. They are the ones who listen the most carefully, who notice when something feels off and adjust without drama, who replace force with curiosity, who choose warmth over rigidity, and who understand that the body after 70 speaks a softer language that requires patience to hear. And if there is one idea worth carrying forward, one idea that can quietly transform the way aging feels from this point on, it is this suggestion. Simple but powerful. Stop trying to be healthy the way you were taught decades ago and start being responsive to who you are today. Ask your body daily what it needs instead of telling it what it should tolerate. Eat to nourish, not to control. Move to feel alive, not to punish. Rest without apology. Speak emotions before they harden into symptoms. And give yourself permission to change the rules as often as your body asks. Because wisdom after 70 is not about holding on tighter. It's about knowing exactly what to release. And when you do, something unexpected happens. Energy returns in quieter ways, sleep deepens, the mind softens. And life stops feeling like something to manage and starts feeling like something to live again. Not perfectly, not impressively, but honestly. And that honesty is what true health looks like at this stage of life.